Hello everybody, welcome back to Board Game Buzz. My name is Carly, and today I'm actually going to be kind of talking a little bit about myself. The title of this video is What is the Buzz Behind Board Game Buzz? And so I thought it'd be interesting to kind of share my own experience with board games and how I personally got into the hobby. So here we go. Buckle in. I have no idea how long this video will be, but it shouldn't be too long, I don't think. Most people, when you ask them how they got involved in the hobby, is they grew up playing board games or they always would play games as a family. We didn't do that growing up. Our thing was movies. We were always watching movies. We were huge movie buffs. I mean, I would play the occasional game. I obviously played Monopoly, played Uno, played all those kind of common games that most people know when they think of board games. I remember I always liked board games. I never really sought them out, though. When people would get together and they'd play games, I'd always be like, oh yeah, I'm in. I'd love to play, count me in. But other than that, I would never go out of my way to purchase a board game. So fast forward many years later, me and my husband are married, we had 2 kids, and we happened to get invited over to a friend of ours. They invited us over for dinner. So we went over for dinner and we had a really good time, and the kids were actually kind of busy off playing by themselves, and our friends actually asked us, they said, you know what, the kids are busy playing, would you like to play a game? And again, me being me, I was like, sure, yeah, you got a game, let's play something, what do you have? And I still remember to this day, and they were like, you know what, let us show you, we've got a few games, come with us. They brought us into the living room and they opened up this closet, and I kid you not, it was just full. It was like this huge closet that was full, floor to ceiling, board games. They were kind of leading us around, and they would point out a game, and they would use terms that were completely unfamiliar to me. Terms like deck building, worker placement, tile placement. I just was so confused. Truthfully, I was so confused, and I was just in awe. I was like, why have I never seen these games before? I was like, I didn't even know that this many games existed. I feel like every time I go to the store, I would see the same 5-10 games. So why had I never heard about these hundreds of other games before? We ended up picking out a game. It was just a simple card game, and we quickly played it. We packed up the kids, got them loaded up in the car, drove home, got the kids down for bed. And the first thing I did was I pulled out my laptop and I started searching up the titles of the games that I remembered. So Azul was one of them, Raiders of the North Sea. And by searching them up, that led to more searches and more websites and more articles. And I slowly became obsessed. Very quickly, I found and became aware of Board Game Geek, which then that opened up a whole new obsession. Forums and games and mechanics, and I just got completely lost in the rabbit hole of board gaming. So at the time, I obviously didn't know much. Many of the mechanics and the terms and phrases that people would use were completely foreign to me, but I did know that I needed to play these games. I was like, I might not know everything, but I know I need these games. So I went back onto the Board Game Geek website, and I just looked at their top 50 games, and Arnak was the one that immediately stood out to me. The cover just completely drew me in. I was like, okay, that one looks interesting. And as I started researching it and kind of looking at it, I was like, okay, this game looks absolutely amazing. I need it. Finally arrived. And I was like, all right, tonight I'm going to sit down and I'm going to learn this game. I'm so excited. So we got the kids down. I sat down, broke it open, and I was just completely overwhelmed. And I just started reading, and it took me a good 3 days, I want to say it. It was either 3 or 4 days that it took me to actually learn this game. Again, I was new to the hobby. I'd never played anything like this, so the fact that this had, deck building and worker placement and tracks. It was just a lot for my mind to process and handle. But eventually it clicked, like I said, after about 3 days. And I played through a full solo mode of it. I was like, I want to fully teach myself and be able to play it solo before I teach Jordan. So I felt like I had a good grasp of it, and I played through an entire solo game. And I won. And I was so proud of myself, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, I get it. This makes sense. I can do this. Taught Jordan. Jordan really liked it. I'd been listening to YouTube channels at this time, so I was starting to kind of get more familiar with terms and stuff. And so after playing this game, I was like, okay, I know what worker placement is. I kind of know what deck building is. I was like, what about all those other mechanics that I don't know about, all those other terms? Yeah, safe to say I started buying more board games. We actually happened to live really close to our best friends, and we brought them over and we started doing weekly game nights with them. And it was so much fun. Those game nights with our friends brought me so much joy. They were something that I looked forward to every single week. We would plan time around it, and we would sit down and just connect with each other. And it was kind of around that time that I started realizing that that's what I kind of had been missing in my life, was simply that connection. I feel like in our day and age, it is so easy to get wrapped up in technology and just kind of distancing yourself from others. And I felt like board games was a way to break that. I really felt like through the game, you were able to connect with those around you and become closer as friends and as families. Board games was just a source of joy for me that I was able to share with my friends and my family. And then last year happened. Husband happened to be looking online, and he saw a job opportunity come up. And it was a really good opportunity for a company that he has loved for a really long time. So just kind of for the fun of it, we applied just to kind of see what would happen. And he ended up getting the job, which unfortunately required us to move. So we moved. And very quickly, we found ourselves very much alone. And it was kind of during that loneliness transition, which most people go through when they move, and you go to a new area and new people, and you feel very much like a fish out of water. I decided that I really wanted to continue to share my board games and continue to be involved with this community. I started getting ideas of, videos I could make, funny reels that I could post, and it just kind of seemed like being a YouTube, Instagram content creator would be a good outlet for me and a way for me to connect with this community. So I started just that. So there you have it. That is all the buzz behind the Board Game Buzzz channel. I'm so excited to be a part of this community and to finally be able to kind of share more in-depth looks and my thoughts on board games on my YouTube channel. If you are not following me on my Instagram channel and you want to, I will make sure to post all that information below as well. And I would just love it if you posted in the comments below sharing your personal introduction to board games and why you love the hobby so much. I love reading people's stories. And to make sure you don't miss out on any of the latest Board Game Buzz, make sure to subscribe to our channel to be a part of this amazing buzzing community. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. So I need you to help settle a debate between me and my husband. When you eat Pringles, there are 2 ways to eat. Option A is like this. Or option B, which is like this. Those are so good. There's only one right answer. Let me know in the comments below, because there could only be one winner.